in Madison Square Garden Arena. It's biggest arena in the world, you know, and we're fighting for the second belt. And, you know, I can't wait and for this legacy fight, and I really believe Islam can make this history.
Работа продолжается.
Wow, look at
I think JDM wins. I think he's really big and he's really talented, and I think that you saw just how good he is against a wrestler.
Khabib Nurmagomedov finally opens up about his lasting impact on Islam Makhachev, revealing how their bond, discipline, and shared mindset continue to shape Islam's rise to greatness. Talking about the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, Dustin Poirier shared his honest opinion. He said, "People are making too much of the size difference between the two. For Poirier, what really matters is who can perform better on fight night." He believes the key will be takedowns, defense, and how both fighters handle those moments inside the cage.
You know, from 45 to 55, when I made the switch, it didn't feel like guys were a whole lot bigger and a whole lot stronger. I didn't really notice it. That's a 10-pound jump. You know, maybe a 15-pound jump from 55 to 70 is a little bit different. I'm not sure. But the thing is, Islam isn't a small guy. He is big. You know, I'm not sure how big Jack is. I've never seen him in person. But I don't think Islam's going to be undersized when they face off. You know, I don't think it's going to be about the size. To me, it's going to come down to the execution. If Islam can secure the takedowns, Jack's takedown defense, his get-ups, I think that's going to be the story of the fight. I don't think size is going to be the story of this fight.
Poirier continued by talking about Jack Della Maddalena's confidence before the fight. He said, "It's normal for a champion to believe in himself, but Poirier also mentioned that Islam Makhachev isn't a small fighter and can handle himself well. Unless Jack turns out to be much bigger, Poirier doesn't think size will make a big difference in this matchup."
He's supposed to be confident. You know, he's a world champion. He's supposed to be thinking these things, but Islam's not a small guy, you know, unless Jack's huge. I've never seen him. You know, some welterweights are huge. I've seen some big boys fighting at 170. I really don't think Islam's going to be that undersized.
Meanwhile, while discussing Islam Makhachev's growth as a fighter, Khabib Nurmagomedov reflected on the changes he noticed after one of Islam's earlier fights. He explained that returning to training after that bout marked a major turning point. According to Khabib, the intensity, focus, and improvement in Islam's wrestling and strength stood out right away, showing that he had learned from his experience and returned much stronger.
Brother, I'm gonna be honest with you. When he fought with him January, and when he come back right after his fight to the gym, and the way how he beginning train, I understand. Next time is gonna be big difference.
Yeah,
because. But Usman never gonna say this, but I feel he underestimate him.
Yeah.
Usman, he don't like talk about this, but I feel he underestimate him. And after January first fight, the way how he stay focused, the way how he beginning resting on his wrestling offense, the way how he beginning lifting, he become much stronger this 8-9 months before the fight. And I understand it's going to be a much different fight, and I was very confident on this fight.
Khabib also talked about the strong run their team has had recently. He said, "Training camps usually start at the end of August, with Islam, Usman, Umar, and others all preparing together. Over the past few months, their hard work has paid off with multiple wins." Khabib proudly mentioned they won 10 professional fights between September and October, showing how well the team is performing.
For all these training camps, we're beginning this end of the August. Islam, Usman, Umar, there is other guys too who win. There is we win 7 more fights. It was in September and October, and we last 2.5 months we win 10 professional fight, and now biggest fight in history on our team is coming. Islam gonna fight for the second belt. You know, this is what we call father's plan. You know, and I think I'm doing good. I'm doing not bad.
Continuing his thoughts, Khabib said the next big moment for their team is Islam Makhachev fighting for his second belt at Madison Square Garden. He called it part of the father's plan and believes this victory will make history. Khabib shared how proud he is to see everyone succeed, saying it will be special to watch Islam become a two-division champion.
Everybody winning, everybody on top, and it will be beautiful things when next week Islam will win welterweight title in Madison Square Garden Arena. It's biggest arena in the world, you know, and we're fighting for the second belt, and you know, I can't wait and for this legacy fight, and I really believe Islam can make this history.
Adding on, as fight week approaches, Jack Della Maddalena reflected on the significance of competing at such a high level. He acknowledged that prestige of sharing the stage with some of the sport's greatest athletes, but emphasized that for him, it's about focusing on the fight itself. Jack explained that he approaches every challenge as part of his natural growth and progression in MMA. He said, "Yeah, it's pretty special to be on a list with some of the greatest athletes ever, but I'm taking it day by day. Fight weeks feels the same, big arena or not, I've always pushed for bigger challenges. And I see this as the natural path of my career." On The Mighty Show, MMA analyst Ariel Helwani shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. He highlighted JDM's size, skill, and calm demeanor, explaining why many fans might be underestimating him. Helwani also noted that Islam's jump to 170 pounds could be a factor, making this matchup a real test for both fighters.
What do I think about it?
Like, who do you got in that one? Who you got in that one?
Yeah. I think JDM wins. I think he's really big and he's really talented, and I think that you saw just how good he is against a wrestler. And obviously Islam is a much better all-around fighter, but this is his first fight at 170 pounds, and that's a big jump from 155. And look, nothing would surprise. Islam's one of the best, if not the best fighters in the world. Nothing would surprise me, but I feel like people are sleeping on JDM. He's such an interesting character. He's like just so calm, cool, and collected. I don't feel like he gets fazed by anything. I enjoy his demeanor and I enjoy the way he fights. And I don't think enough people gave him credit in the Bilal. They're like, why didn't Bilal shoot? Why didn't he?
Couldn't.
It's because of JDM. Yes, he had a big Aussie boy in front of him doing great things to stop him from executing his game plan. So what a card. I love that freaking card.
Furthermore, Michael Bisping explained why the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena is so exciting. He said Islam's record is impressive with 27 wins, 1 loss, and a mix of knockouts and submissions. Even though Islam is known for his grappling, he can strike well, as shown against top fighters like Alexander Volkanovski. This makes him dangerous in any matchup.
Moving on, it's a hell of a fight card, it really is, and this main event is incredible. Jack Della Maddalena on an 18-fight win streak, taking on Islam Makhachev, a man that only has 1 loss on his record. He got caught by Adriano Martins at the start of his UFC run. His record is 27 wins, 1 loss, 5 knockouts, 13 submissions. The man can strike. Remember, this is billed as a striker versus a grappler, or a boxer versus a wrestler. But the man's got submissions and he's got knockouts. Look at what he did to Alexander Volkanovski. Knocked him out with a beautiful head kick. And no one's knocking out Alexander Volkanovski. And he came back after getting knocked out against Topuria and beat Diego Lopez to become the champion again. And the man's flying high. He's a future Hall of Famer.
Bisping talked about Islam's recent fights and JDM's progress. Islam dominated Renato Mo quickly and defeated Dustin Poirier in the 5th round. Jack's win over Bilal Muhammad was a good warm-up, but Bisping noted that Islam's wrestling and striking and experience against top fighters make him a tough opponent. Even though Jack has excellent boxing, he will face a real challenge against Islam.
What I'm saying is, Islam Makhachev can strike. He had moments as well against Dustin Poirier, who's one of the best strikers that the lightweight division had in recent memory. So I don't think that even if it's on the feet, it's going to be easy for Jack Della Maddalena. But when you look at the form that Islam Makhachev is on, last time beat Renato Moicano, did it very easily in the 1st round. Dustin Poirier took him to the 5th round but got the finish. Before that, knocked out Volkanovski with that beautiful head kick, and prior to that, had a really close fight with Alexander Volkanovski. Again, don't let that fool you. Volkanovski is a tremendously talented fighter that was the pound-for-pound #1 at one point. Remember that. However, Jack did just beat Belal Muhammad. And that's the perfect warm-up fight. I've said this many times, okay, because Belal could be bigger. He might be stronger, but he's not Islam Makhachev. It's a good warm-up. He's got beautiful boxing, probably the best in the UFC. He's got excellent footwork. He's got Craig Jones helping him out in the corner. He's got Alexander Volkanovski flying down to help him out and give him some tips and tricks and secrets of the fights that Volkanovski had with Islam.
Bisping also highlighted Islam's background and team. He said Islam has been bred for this with Eagle MMA and Khabib guiding him. Fighting at Madison Square Garden, Islam is used to big moments, while JDM faces his first title fight. Bisping believes Islam's skills, experience, and heritage make him a tough challenge. This super fight is highly anticipated and will test both fighters' abilities.
However, will it be enough? We gotta remember, Islam Makhachev was bred for this ever since he was a little boy. There's just something different about him, about his team, about Khabib, about Eagle MMA, about Khabib Nurmagomedov, the lineage, the heritage, and just the kind of fighting spirit that these men have. Islam Makhachev has been bred for this moment, and he's been in these kind of big moments before. Remember, this is a super fight going down at Madison Square Garden, and this is Jack Della Maddalena's first title defense.
Moving on, Nick Pete talked about Islam Makhachev's goal to step out of Khabib Nurmagomedov's shadow and build his own legacy. He said Islam is already a star, and becoming a two-weight UFC champion would make him even bigger. Pete explained that moving up through weight divisions is extremely hard, which is why Khabib didn't attempt it. Only a few fighters in UFC history have achieved this.
Obviously, Islam wants to break out of the mold of Khabib. He wants to break out of that shadow. You're right. Has he done it already? Potentially. But you and me have been in Abu Dhabi. We haven't been blessed enough to go to Dagestan, but we've been in Abu Dhabi. We've been in the Middle East with these people. Islam's a star. Khabib is a mega star out there. And this, by becoming a two-weight champion, I think will only add to Islam's legacy and only promote him even bigger as a star. But it's not easy. There's a reason why Khabib didn't do it, kids. And yes, there was a time frame, everything else. Could he have done it? Absolutely. Did he do it? No, because it's not easy.
Pete continued by comparing Islam to other fighters like John Jones and Georges St. Pierre, who waited and rebuilt their bodies before moving up in weight. He explained that Islam hasn't had luxury yet, making this challenge even tougher. Pete believes that if Islam succeeds in becoming a multiple weight champion, it will strengthen his legacy and show he can achieve greatness on his own terms.
Jumping up through weight divisions and becoming multiple weight champion in the UFC, in the toughest fight arena in sports, isn't easy, which is why only 10 people have done it in the 30-odd year history of the sport. It's not easy to become a multiple weight world champion. It took John Jones about 4 years to sit out and rebuild his body before he had the confidence enough to came back, and he only came back a bit like GSP when he thought the time was right and the opponent with the current champion with the belt was the right opponent for him.
Building on the discussion about Islam's potential legacy, Adam Catterall said Islam looks too big to move back down in weight. Any future super fights would likely be at 170 pounds. He mentioned exciting possibilities like a matchup against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Catterall emphasized that Islam is on the verge of defining his own legacy, achieving milestones that even Khabib doesn't reach in multiple divisions.
I can't see him going back down. I'll be honest, I can't see him going back down there. I really can't. I think he's ticked off. I think if we're going to get the super fight between him and Ilia Topuria, it would be up at 170 pounds. And I kind of like the fact as well of, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves of him actually winning, because this is tough. We'll get to the stylistic matchup of this fight in a minute. But from a Islam Makhachev point of view, I think if he wins, I think there's tons of viable opponents for him to get stuck into. I mean, imagine a super fight between him and Shavkat Rakhmonov. I know that you're a big fan of Shavkat. That would be absolutely, truly sensational should he come through on Saturday night. And I think there's some real legacy-defining moments on the horizon for Islam.
Adam continued by highlighting Islam's record at lightweight, including multiple title defenses. He explained that winning at 170 pounds would give Islam a second belt and tie Anderson Silva's record of 16 consecutive UFC victories. These accomplishments show how close Islam is to cementing his place among MMA's all-time greats, creating historic, legacy-defining moments for himself in the sport.
Of entering that GOAT chat. We talk about it all the time, don't we, of what people have to do in order to try and get on the Mount Rushmore of trying to become one of the greatest of all time. People would refer to her as Khabib as one of those fighters being undefeated through 29 professional MMA fights. But from an Islam point of view, he is on the cusp of doing something that Khabib didn't do, which is obviously winning a championship in a second weight class. He has got the multiple defenses at lightweight, which is also a massive tick. Most amount of defenses at 155. Now we'll put 170. And as well as that, and I'm sure it's not passed a lot of fans by, on Saturday, if he wins, he equals Anderson Silva's record of 16 straight victories in the UFC.
Meanwhile, Brendan Schwab shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight to face Jack Della Maddalena. He said, this fight gives Islam a chance to step slightly out of Khabib's shadow, but he will still be compared to his mentor. Schwab explained JDM is likely the best pure boxer in the UFC, while Islam relies on solid defense and world-class grappling to control fights.
The narrative of that Islam's this GOAT and he's better than Khabib is so far off. Now, him going to welterweight and doing something Khabib has never done will get him a little bit out of Khabib's shadow, but still not completely out of his shadow, right? Islam versus JDM, this going to be more clear of a straight boxer, probably the best in the UFC, boxing-wise. And then Islam has decent striking, quick saying it's world class. His main thing is his defense. His defense is good. He avoids shots. That's probably where he excels at.
Schwab continued by breaking down the fight's strategy. He said, it's a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Jack's path to victory depends on defending takedowns, avoiding back control, and quickly returning to his feet. If he can neutralize Islam's wrestling and maintain his positioning, Islam will struggle. The focus will be on hand fighting, control, and endurance across 5 rounds to decide the winner.
But his offense ain't as far as compared to JDM. So you have a straight boxer versus a straight grappler. That's what this fight comes down to. So the whole thought process for JDM, his path to victory is when you get taken down, can you avoid him controlling your back? Can you hand fight? Can you avoid all that and get back to your feet? If JDM gets taken down and can get back to his feet and not get just out-positioned and just wrestle for 5 rounds, I just don't see a way Islam beats him.
As fight week intensifies, all eyes are on Madison Square Garden, where history could be made. Islam Makhachev aims to become a 2-division UFC champion, stepping out of Khabib Nurmagomedov's shadow and solidifying his legacy. Jack Della Maddalena brings sharp boxing, confidence, and power, setting up a true striker versus grappler showdown. Experts agree this isn't just another fight, it's a defining moment for both athletes. With Islam's experience, grappling, and determination, and JDM's speed, precision, and strategy, fans are in for an electrifying battle that could reshape the welterweight division and create unforgettable UFC history. So, who do you think will come out on top? Islam Makhachev with his grappling mastery, or Jack Della Maddalena with his boxing and power? Comment below and let us know your predictions.